Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet a chain. This is one of the first things you need to learn when learning to crochet because most projects, almost every project, starts with a chain. So this is a chain, and that's what I'm going to be showing you how to do today. Alright, so to get started on a chain, first we start with a slip knot, which I have instructions for in another video if you haven't done that yet. So we can get our yarn on our hook. And to begin our chain, you're going to want to move your hook in front of the yarn, and that yarn from the back is going to pull forward in front of your hook. You want the kind of opening of your hook facing you so that yarn is kind of caught on the hook. And then you're going to slowly pull, and as you come to the loop, you're going to kind of move your hook towards your left hand so that you don't lose. It brings it in nice and snug through your loop. So that is one chain. We're going to do that again. You're going to place your hook in front of the yarn. And if your left hand and right hand working together, you're going to pull that yarn up over the top and snag it right in your hook. You're going to turn your hook towards your left hand a little bit, slowly pull it through, and this is where you're going to be working on your tension. So if you have it too tight, it's going to be really hard to get through the loop here on your hook. So you can kind of loosen that by letting go, giving a little of the tension on your finger and pulling up on your right hand, and then pull through. Now, alternatively, you might be too loose. And to resolve that, you can kind of tug a little on your tension on your left hand to kind of tighten that up as you're going. So again, we're going to put our hook in front of our yarn, loop that yarn over the top and towards the front so that it snags on our hook, turn our hook a little towards the left, pull it through the loop. And when you're learning to chain, you just want to practice this a lot because this is going to help you learn your tension, again, how to loosen it, how to tighten it, and to get it so that it's not too loose, not too tight before you learn any other stitches. And you can just do as many chains as you need to until your hands get comfortable with these motions and with holding your yarn and your hook. You know, make chains to use for decorations, for whatever you want, for ribbons, just so that you can get comfortable and feel at ease with creating a chain, because you're going to use this for every project that you do. So you've got a chain, and this is how you start almost every project in crochet. It's called a starting chain or a foundation chain. The next step, once you've got your chains down, is that you'll start to work into your chain on a row to get going with the next step of a project. So you're always going to start with a chain, so the chain is very important. Now the chain essentially has three parts to it. If you look close, you can see that there's kind of this V that has formed, and these two loops are the top loop and the bottom loop. So of course on the top would be your top loop, and on the bottom is the bottom loop of your chain. And then if you turn it over, you can see another loop on the back, and this is called the back loop or the back bump. So when you look at pattern instructions, after it instructs you to create a chain of whatever length, if it instructs you to crochet into the chain, sometimes it'll tell you which loop to chain into, sometimes it won't. Generally it's if not stated, the top loop, but if you have a preference, it can turn out a little different. So if you were to crochet into the top loop, you would be inserting your hook through there, through the top loop. If you're instructed to crochet through the back bump or the back loop, you'll be coming to the back and crocheting through there. Now the advantage to doing the back loop is that when you're done, you have these V's along the bottom of your work. That's a nice and neat look. You can also crochet easily into them if you have to do a border. The advantage of crocheting into the top loop is that it's just a little bit easier and quicker to do. So you'll also be instructed often if you're going in the back and forth row method. You will be instructed to crochet in the second or third chain from your hook. So when you're looking at what's on your hook, the loop on your hook is here. The loop that yarn goes directly through is the first chain from your hook, and you never crochet into that because since your yarn is going into that, if you were to put your hook back through there, you would undo your loop. So you're always going to see instructions saying second loop from your hook or third or fourth, but this is the loop on your hook, this is the first loop from your hook, and then the next is the second. So you'll see instructions to crochet into the second chain or loop from your hook or the third, and you'll just count along to find the loop that they're talking about, and that number will be different depending on how high your next stitch in your row needs to be. If it's a single crochet, you're usually going to be crocheting into the second chain from your hook because it's a short stitch. If you're doing a tall stitch like a double crochet, it might be the third or the fourth from your hook so that it will meet the height of that taller stitch in your next row. Now the great thing about a chain is if you have too many, if you've made a mistake or you got to start over, maybe you decided your hook you're using is too small or too big, to undo it, all you gotta do is pull on that yarn and it comes right out. Now, that can also be frustrating if you didn't mean to do it, so be careful of that. But there is how you do a chain.